Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I don't know if you could tell a little bit different there, but for a while I had not been adding like the intro and the outro. And one of my amazing members of Marketing Business School and one of my really great friends was like, Rita, where did the music go? And I was like, I was just trying to make things as clean as possible as I was editing because quarter one was bananas. So here you go. There's the music's back. I do want to record like a new intro and a new outro, but I have been dealing like with allergies-ish this week. So my voice is not the best, so I didn't want to make a long-term change just yet. So maybe next week or the week after we'll get a little bit of an update of that intro and outro. But yay, the music is back again. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you found last month's content creation series to be of super value. Just so many tactical bits and information to really help you in your content creation process. If there's any outstanding like questions that you have about creating content for your business, you know that you are always able to shoot me a text just by going into the show notes, the show description of the podcast episode. Now, if you've been nervous to shoot me a text, don't worry. It's not my actual phone number, and I don't get your actual phone number as well. Like, all I'll get is like the last 4 digits of your phone number. So if you've like been wanting to like send something anonymously or a little bit shy, I don't like find out your name or anything unless you tell me your name when you're doing the message. And I don't like find exact details. It's just very minimal, and I can share them here on the podcast. Which, if you didn't know or if you couldn't tell, we are getting super close to episode 200 of this podcast. And I've had a lot of ideas swirling in my head for what I want to do for 200. And I think the best thing that I can do is really just answer whatever burning questions you have about building your travel business, marketing your travel business, increasing your confidence, putting yourself out there, networking, LinkedIn, just all the things that I love to do. Let me know what your burning questions are. Now, I also want to like up the ante on here because I kind of want to do this like as a free flow podcast episode. So instead of you just sending a message to me, we're going to up the ante here, and I want you to speak your message to me. So you're going to head on over to speakpipe.com, speakpipe.com/take the helm. And I'm going to link this up below too. You have, it's either 60 or 90 seconds to ask me whatever your burning question is. And so you have like a week, maybe 2 weeks to submit these in. So just don't delay. Maybe if you want to pause the episode, submit your question, then come back. Maybe that might be the best thing too. But I would love to hear from you. Please make sure to tell me your name. What's your business name? And then ask me whatever your burning question is so that we can like really celebrate episode 200 by answering the top questions that are in your head right now about your business. So super excited for that coming up. I also have to let you know, like, I should be slowing down, but I'm the crazy person and I just cannot slow down, which is why I also wanted to go over my quarter one with you. But before we get into that, I do have to say or let you know, the Marketing Your Cruise Business event is officially happening April 15th through 17th, 2025. So head on over to the show description. You're going to be able to find the link. It is completely free to register for the event. You'll get access to the recordings for 24 to 48 hours. I haven't completely decided yet. From there, only members of the cruise content library will have access to the recordings. So perk for my members inside of there. But I am officially launching the cruise content library, and I just couldn't do a normal launch. So I had to do a launch event, which I am so excited for because I'm having 2 guest experts with me that week. And so just plan in your head, if you've already signed up, stay tuned. There'll be a little email coming out so that you can save the dates on your calendar. 3 p.m. Eastern every day for about an hour-ish. It'll be me and another expert, or just me, talking about different ways that you can market your travel business. And so, day 1, I have the amazing Chief Marketing Officer from Alma Waterways coming. We're going to talk about transitioning your ocean clients into river. And we're going to talk specifically about the cruise because we were just assisting with a host agency fam trip a couple weeks ago, and just the itinerary, the ship, which was the Emma Magnum, and then just being low season. There were so many amazing factors. And I told her, I'm like, more advisors need to know about this and about the benefits to their clients, because I feel like this is the perfect transition for those people who are a little bit unsure about the river cruise experience to like really dip their toes in a little bit on the river cruise experience. So I'm just really excited for that session. Day 2, I am talking to travel advisor Seth Wayne. Oh, and the chief marketing officer, her name is Michael McGuire. I'm not sure if I listed her name or not. But day 2, we're going to be talking to Seth. He is a fellow travel advisor, and he worked in the news, then worked for a major cruise line, and like things happened in 2020, obviously had to make strong pivots and decided to open his own travel agency. And he hit the ground running, but there was a lot of groundwork that he had in place that really helped his success. So we're going to be talking about things like media confidence, going live weekly, building up a community so that it's easier for you to make sales, and then also what it's like planning big group trips, because that's really his business model, is that he escorts groups on different cruise trips all around the world. And so just really excited for you to dig in a little bit. That's a little bit of the high level there. And then, last but not least, yours truly, I will be talking about, this is going to be a newish training. So I know the past couple of weeks we've been talking a lot about top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, but we haven't gotten like uber tactical on what some of those marketing messages, what some of those marketing assets can be at those different levels. And so we're going to get really granular, really specific on marketing your cruise business based on those different levels, and what are the marketing messages that each of the different levels need to hear, and how we can create those marketing messages. So super excited. This is like a brand new, fresh training that I've never done before. And with my cruise background, I'm just really excited to really dive in on that and help you out with marketing your cruise business, especially now that you're also going to have fresh, amazing content from the cruise content library to leverage. I think I'm like at the 18 or 1900 video like B-roll clip mark within the cruise content library. I am like committed to getting everything that I have through 2024 done within the next couple of weeks for launch. And then everything that I've gotten through 2025 will hopefully be updated through the summer. Excuse me. So yeah, big things happening, which kind of then leads me into really being a little bit vulnerable here, because normally I wait till the end of the year to tell you all of the ups and downs. I feel like this year is a very special year for multiple reasons. Many of you already know what I'm talking about, so we're not going to really get into it. But I've heard from so many advisors that either the start of the year has been super great for you, or it's been super not great for you. And then I had just seen a post recently of like so many people canceling their reservations, but I've also heard the same thing on the opposite end where it's been a record-breaking year. So I'm not sure where exactly you lie, but I'm hoping that me being a little bit vulnerable with my business, and my business model is a little bit different. I don't do much on the agency side, though I do have a big frustration with a group that I am working on right now, and it's not the group's fault. So I'll get into that a little bit. But I do more on the business education side of things. So this is really going to be a breakdown of what happened January, February, March. We're going to go through everything. I'm going to share personal stuff. I'm going to share business stuff. I mean, I'm not going to share everything because I don't remember what I ate last week, but I will be sharing a lot of things and a lot of the themes that I've kind of picked up on as the months have gone, because I think that this is going to be super helpful for you to feel less lonely about what your situation might be right now. And then also to give you ideas or help just spark some inspiration to help you in your business journey. So, I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like quarter one for me was not my best. And if you're a marketing business school, you've already heard, this is not a surprise. My members inside of marketing business school, we had our quarterly review last week, and we kind of touched on a lot of this, that my quarter one was not, it was probably, when I'm thinking of revenue wise and hitting my goals, it was probably the worst quarter that I've had in a while. And I'm not exactly certain why, because, I like to say, and other experts like to say, the business that you have today is as a result of what you did 3 to 6 months ago. And well, if we're looking at quarter four and a little bit of quarter three, I was super visible, active, out there, putting events on, being of value, being useful and all that. So I knew that I hadn't had a big concrete plan for Q1, and you'll see why, because there's a lot of stuff that kind of happened in Q1 that I was assisting with. So I kind of put the brakes a little bit on some of the things that I had been focusing on, but also put the gas on some other things. But I just was thinking that the momentum that I had from quarter four was going to lead into quarter one, and that was not the case. And that was a huge disappointment for me. If you heard the last episode where I was kind of reviewing the year, you also know that my word of the year is unapologetic. And I forgot that was the word that I chose a couple weeks ago when somebody was asking me what word I had chosen. And I'm like, it's an A word. And as I was reflecting on that also, I was like, well, shoot, I have not been very unapologetic this quarter at all. A lot of that is to do with personal health struggles. So if we're looking all the way back to January, many of you know I struggle with autoimmune issues. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I also was diagnosed, I have ovarian cysts, I have uterine fibroids, I had a surgery to remove all that, and they also found stage 4 endometriosis. And, it's just been, that surgery was 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and it has just been progressively worse as far as my symptoms. And so what I have been noticing, and I think that this, it's definitely affecting my work, is that I am only really great or at my top 2 weeks out of the month, every month. And I was starting to notice that back in January, that I 2 weeks out of the month, I have this intense fatigue. I am not able to work as many hours as I normally would be able to work because I am dealing with all that. And because I have endometriosis, I'm not gonna gross you out with all the details, but I am also iron deficiency anemic, which just exasperates these issues of fatigue, of brain fog, of being available and all that. That has greatly affected my work and my output, and also the time delay. I think that was one of the most frustrating things for me in March. Is one, I was only in the States for half of the month because I was assisting with different FAMs. So I was thinking that I was going to be on top of my game once I was home and being able to like chuck all these things out off of my to-do list. And that just could not happen because of the state that I was in for 2 weeks out of the month. And so in an effort, because I try a lot of different things, in an effort to improve things, I started seeing a Chinese medicine doctor in January who's been prescribing me herbs, and we've kind of like changed my formula here and there. Some things have improved, some things have gotten worse, which I know like health healing is a non-linear line, especially when you have autoimmune and all these other hormonal things going on. So it has just been very frustrating, one, dealing with those symptoms, and then two, those symptoms affecting the work that I do. And so one of the big themes for me is that it's become blatantly obvious that I need, with the time that I am able to work and I am at my peak, I need to pack a punch with the work that I get out there. So it's me having to maximize these big results in a shorter amount of time and with less amount of things, which is a little hard for me because if you know me, you know I have millions of ideas and I love to do all the things because overall, I am committed to your success. I am committed to your clarity. I am committed to helping you gain confidence. I am committed to like lighting the fire under your own booty so you get the work done, so that you have the business that you want to have and are not burdened by like the overwhelm and everything else that can come as part of entrepreneurial life. And so like not being able to perform at my highest and best self is really dragging me, but I'm trying to be patient. I'm also looking at different modalities because quite frankly, this year I will be turning 39. So I will be heading into that perimenopausal phase that many of you have experienced that may be listening to this podcast before. Maybe you're struggling with that yourself. And so with all the things that I have going on, I'm kind of like figuring out what are the alternatives that I really have, so that I can be more functional in the month than just for 2 weeks, because that is ridiculous and that is not a long-term solution for me. January was also filled with Host Week. So if you didn't know, I do a lot of work with the Host Agency Reviews team. And one of my big babies, so I didn't come up with the idea, and I actually joined the Host Agency Reviews team probably at their second or third. No, I think their third Host Week. And it's kind of like been one of my like baby events. So I'm doing a lot in the background, similar to kind of what I do with Take the Helm and some of my events, but just a little bit extra, a little bit more. So it's not my event, but I do take a lot of ownership because there's a lot of things that I touch and help produce for Host Week. So I always know like Host Week or January is Host Week month. Like there's not much else that I like designate time for, because Host Week month is super important, super critical. And I know so many of you have attended, have loved the content, and like have been able to decide on your first host agency or possibly your next host agency, or just like fallen in love with tech because you found new tech options there for you. So there's just a lot of really great things with Host Week. And because it's so important to me, I also prioritize that I don't do much else in January outside of Host Week. January is also the month where PodFest happens. And I did do a little bit of a recap in my earlier episodes this year about PodFest this year. But I just loved PodFest. And I'm glad that I'm able to carve in a couple days in January to be able to attend PodFest. It is a podcasting conference. And so there's a lot of podcasters from different walks of life. Like this can be podcasters who are just doing this as a hobby. This is also podcasters who are wanting to do this as a business and generate revenue in a different way. So I like to go there, do a lot of mixing, mingling, learn a ton about AI this time, and then also just make new contacts of people that can potentially be on the podcast, or even for me that I'm able to be a guest on other people's podcasts. It's just a really great visibility opportunity to meet different people in different industries. Also in January, I announced that I was the president-elect for my Rotary chapter. And so I had to attend what we call District Pets, which is a president-elect training that happened within our district. And I got a super crash course because I full transparency, I was almost like voluntold that I was going to be the president-elect, which I am happy to do. I am completely happy to do. It is time for me to like pay my dues and step into that leadership position in my Rotary chapter. But there's also a big part of me that's like, oh, I wish I had another year to get things in order. But this is the way that it is. And so we're just going to press forward. And so, learned a lot at that training. Did start feeling a little bit of overwhelm, but also was like, I'm only president for 1 year. So I don't have to, like, this is not a full-time job thing, so don't worry about it too much. And thankfully, like, I do have a cute, cozy little chapter, but we are trying to grow some members. So, hey, if you are in the Central Florida area and you're wanting to join a Rotary chapter, come out and talk to me. We're in South Orlando, so would love to have you as part of our chapter. Then the last big thing that kind of happened in January for me was that I launched rapid fire coaching. Whoop, whoop. I have been talking to a few travel advisors who had been really wanting to work a little bit more closely with me. And I was like, you know what? We're going to beta test rapid fire coaching, see how it goes, see how I do, see how helpful I am to the other travel advisors, and see what we can do to like really grow their businesses this year. And so things are going super well. I am loving learning because everybody's at a different place. Everybody has different goals. And so being able to see what everybody's doing and also like see where they're at and where their heads are at thinking. And then also being able to be like, so what are we going to do about that? So just being able, like, that is probably one of the best things that I can do for you is really just give you the Hail Mary and be like, you said you were going to do this today, but you did not do it. So what's going on? So I have been thinking about bringing a summer cohort / mini mastermind of rapid fire coaching. So if that's something that you're interested, let me know because, I mean, I'm not going to do it if not a lot of people are interested in it. I was actually trying to do like a 6 month and time just got away from me. So now I'm like, okay, maybe like a 3 or 4 month in the summertime. So yeah, that is how January started this year. Then when we go to February, some of the big notable things that happened were one, women's work. So if you don't know, women's work is, I'm not sure if I would call it an organization, but it is like an accelerator. That's what it is. It's more of an accelerator program for women and non-binary folks to really accelerate the success within their travel and tourism business. So I was able to be a mentor for the last cohort, teaching a lot about marketing and the sales funnel. And so they do this thing called Demo Day, and you don't, like, anybody can join Demo Day. And so it was just so rewarding to see all of the different businesses and kind of like the boost that they got from this training program, this accelerator. And so it was just, I feel like there were a lot of warm fuzzies that happened in February, and I was able to almost relish in slowing down just a little bit because of the busyness and all the things that were happening in January to kick off the new year. So, and that was a really great way to hear the stories of everybody, why they created their businesses, what they do within their businesses, who they're hoping to connect with. So I did connect with a couple people via Instagram, and I'm just excited because that's one of my goals for this year, and you're going to hear it for Q2 especially, is relationships is really at the top of mind for me this quarter. Also in February, it was my 2-year dating anniversary with my boyfriend. So super excited about that. Like that was, I think for both of us, that was like a big milestone and accomplishment for us. Also on that note, we were able to pay off our first cruise together. So that's happening this May. It's actually happening for my birthday. It will be his first ever cruise. And I think the closer that it gets, the more I get excited. Because obviously he has to like it. Because I don't think this is going to work if you don't like cruising. So just like really excited. It's all lovey-dovey in February. I also assisted with a host agency fam, and man, February is very much in the feels when I'm thinking about this, because before we get into the host agency fam, I also got together for a dinner with lots of my college friends. And that was we hadn't all been together, I think, for probably 10 years when somebody had gotten married. And so I know some of us meet here, some of us meet there, but just to be able to be all together, I think the busyness of January really lent in for me to lean back just slightly in February, but also really lean into all this connection that was happening, which then we get into the first fam that I assisted with this year, which was an immersive journey with a host agency. And it just felt so great. It just felt so great because I did teach and I got lots of content. I ran a 2-hour mobile photo shoot. When I say mobile photo shoot, I take a lot of photos and videos on my phone because I don't have professional equipment. My professional equipment is my phone, and I'm able to get really great content for you. And I mean, I think the biggest, aside from hearing confidence boosts that other people had and stories that other people had to share, I think the biggest thing that touched my heart, because this is what I do when I'm on trips and I'm able to get content of you, is just travel advisors being able to say wow, I'm never in any photos on any of these trips. And then they come away with just this bank of amazing photos that they can use for their business. That is why I do what I do. Truly, you guys inspire me. You guys motivate me. You charge my batteries when I think my batteries have been exhausted. If I'm able to impact your business in even that much of a way, score, I'm on cloud 9. I've done what I've needed to do. I'm not done yet, but at least I know that I'm doing the right things. Then we come to March, which honestly, March was a blur because I was traveling, then I was home. Then I was traveling, then I was home. As I returned from the host agency marketing immersion, I was 10-ish days here, celebrated my boyfriend's birthday, and then headed off to TMP on the river, which was another heartwarming experience for me because I was teaching AI, artificial intelligence, and I was a little nervous about teaching that because there's a lot of different ways that you can come out of this, but I just got so many raving reviews from the way that I was teaching it and how practical it was. It wasn't just a high level what AI can do for you. I got into the nitty gritty and I gave prompts and I gave examples and I showed what you can do, how you can do, and I gave a really great lay of the land. So I'm going to pat myself on the back because I just got so much really great feedback. And I think I will be teaching those as part of some paid workshops later this year, like maybe May or June-ish. So stay tuned to that if you are interested in learning a little bit more. But yeah, like just these trips are so heartwarming for so many different ways. Like I truly don't know how I'm impacting you unless you tell me and unless you open it up to me. And so when you are able to come to me and tell, like, I just remember a travel advisor had come to me after one of my sessions on board with nearly tears in her eyes and hugged me and told me that I just changed the trajectory of her business because the people that she's been surrounded with have been a little bit closed-minded, and I just opened all the gates, the floodgates for her for possibility on what she can do and different ways to monetize her business. And that was one of the best compliments. Truly, truly, truly. I was also very frustrated with one of my supplier partners in March, and I'm not gonna put them on blast or anything. It is a cruise line partner, and it has been so frustrating to like this whole back and forth because I'm working with the retreat group for the fall, and I really want to get them all signed on and everything, but I can't do that without making sure the meeting space is good, and securing the meeting space is just taking much longer than it ever should have. So that has been a thorn in my side. The other biggest thorn in my side is that I have been promoting different things through Q1, and again, they're just not resulting in the results that I thought were going to happen, and so I'm pretty stumped because the feedback that I've gotten for the different programs has been so positive. So I'm like, okay, then why isn't anything happening? So, yeah, that's what we'll come back to that. It's been a sticking point for me. Towards the end of the month, I did attend a webinar, and this has been something that has been like a sticking point with me. A lot of Q1 is imposter syndrome, and am I good enough? Which is why when I hear really great feedback that kind of like, I'm like, imposter syndrome, who? Get that person out of here. They don't exist in this life. And I think that was like when I attended a webinar at the end of the month, and the webinar, I don't know, I feel like I have really high standards for webinars, probably because I give so much value at my own webinars that I expect everybody else to give just as much value. And so when I don't see that happening, I'm like, wah, wah, wah. And then I'm also like, I know I'm doing something good because my stuff will be much better. So it's like a catch-22. I do have to say that as well. I was telling my dear friend Stephanie Cannon that my university was hosting like an AI for business or just working professionals webinar on Thursday of this week. And so I attended it, and I'm like, I immediately was thrown off. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the story that I posted of, because there was a lot of like fear mongering about artificial intelligence, which one, yes, there's certain caution that should be had, but there shouldn't be this fear mongering that really blocks off people from ever even like utilizing artificial intelligence, which then gets me also to think, I saw a reel about women and using technology. That's a topic for another discussion, but I was like, a lot of things that had come up during my conversations on the last fam on TMP on the River kind of came full circle when I saw this reel, which is why I bring it up. Then last but not least, I have been really freaking stressed out about my taxes. I was thinking for the first time in many, many years, like I was going to have to file an extension because I didn't have my ducks in a row because March was a blur and all that. And then now all my stuff is done. It's not finalized. I'm waiting for the tax accountant, but being relieved that I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So some of the common themes that kind of came up this month were really that I have to find some more breathing room. But again, that's kind of hard when I am dealing with all of my health issues, because I'm kind of forced to have breathing room because my body's like, nope, you're not going to work anymore today. Legit, that's kind of how it feels. Like I'm working and working and working, and then the fatigue is just like, nope, not doing it anymore. So I'm really trying to, on the days where I know that I'm at 100, really work at 100 and get lots of work done, because I know that during certain times of the month, that is not always going to be possible. I've also been told various times, you need a break, Rita. I agree, and that's coming. That's coming in May, but also it will be coming after this launch. And not only that, like, I'm a crazy person sometimes, but I'm a crazy person because I'm so passionate about you. And again, want to be putting really great things out for you. So that means Cruise Content Library is launching. Then a couple weeks after that, we're going to have our 3rd annual Travel Tech Audio Summit. And then after that, I will be planning a couple other things. So I'll talk about that in my Q2 plans. So yeah, it was also very apparent to me that being busy isn't always a great thing. Now, I do have to say that a lot of the work that I'm busy with now is kind of like retroactive work, because I'm having to work back. Like I had a business idea that I'm having to work backwards on pretty much. So it's kind of like the Cruise Content Library was an idea that I had last year, but it is taking content. I'm having to like go through my archives from 2021 and build those in. So I have everything that I need. It's just taking me time to like retroactively work to get current. That is also the same thing with my blogging project, which is going to be a big focus once I'm more up to date in the Cruise Content Library, so that you have all the tons of content, so that you can make amazing content and marketing assets. But yeah, that's what I'm finding is the busiest work that I'm doing is getting caught up. So then a lot of like the foundational things that I've done, I can now focus and set my sights on, because that's really what I'm excited about with the Cruise Content Library is what additional tools, what additional templates and assets can I create? You have access to amazing content within the library. What else would be helpful within your marketing journey? So that's starting to come top of mind, but isn't totally top of mind yet. We've talked a little bit about who is unapologetic. Certainly not me, but I am starting to embrace that again now, and letting go of the imposter syndrome. Why did I write this? Other people doing things, and I have... So this kind of goes along with the imposter syndrome. I am realizing, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, there are people that don't have the amazing stats and data that I do that are doing bigger and better things. And so this is kind of where a little bit of comparisonitis comes in, but I'm also not trying to like live in the comparisonitis. I'm trying to be like, Rita, these people are doing amazing things and they don't have nearly the data that I have to back it up. So I need to be unapologetic. I need to be unfearful and just do the dang thing and get out there. Because if these people can do it, I can certainly do it. And I definitely have the credentials to back it up. Ooh, see, there's the unapologetic Rita. So that has been like, I saw stats for somebody that gave me an idea of something that I want to be doing for next year that I will not... I'm not going to be open about this just yet. I'm going to keep this close to the vest. And I was like comparing their stats with my stats. And I'm like, holy guacamole. Like I thought their stats were going to blow me out of the water. And I'm like, I'm doing nearly, like I'm not that far behind you. So it felt really good. The other thing is, and this kind of like goes with me working retroactively, I'm thinking... There's been a lot of times where I've been feeling like I've been behind this quarter, and I just have to keep thinking about that image of the arrow where you have to pull back the arrow so that the arrow can push forward. And so that's been kind of like something that I have to think about, that all this forward momentum is going to come. I just have to keep working on these things first, and then bada boom, bada bing, there we go. Woo! I think of Robin Hood a lot when I think of arrows. And I don't think of the Disney version. I think of the Kevin Costner version of Robin Hood, if that says anything also. So I am really hopeful and being really positive about Q2, because the word of the year, or the word of the quarter that I've established with my group inside of Marketing Business School is relationships. And I did talk about that at my year-end review, that relationships were something that I wanted to work on. I just haven't had the time to work on the relationships. So as I'm starting to get caught up on things in Q2, like, that is going to be a big focus of mine, is meeting people, reconnecting. I've been having lots of reconnection chats this past week or so I'm really excited about that. And then just meeting other great people that are doing amazing things within the industry. April, really, like, the high level things are for me to launch the cruise content library, which it is available at launch pricing now if you're interested in checking it out. Uploading all of the content is a huge thing for me, and then getting blog posts written, because I think if you go to the strategictravelentrepreneur.podcast.com, that's where I'm repurposing my podcast content as blog posts. I think I only have like 10 or 11 up. And so my big goal is for like the end of April / end of May to have 20 more blogs up. I just told you earlier that I'm getting close on 200, so that puts me still very far behind, but especially me using AI to work faster on this, like, I'm hoping I'm able to like knock that out in 2 weeks, and then just keep a regular decorum of me writing and working on the past blog content so I can get more current to today's date and all that. So that is a huge project on my list. When I'm looking at May, Travel Tech Audio Summit, the third annual, I already have speakers scheduled. If there's anybody that you would love to hear from on the Travel Tech Audio Summit, let me know. And if you have a connection, hook us up. Maybe they'll show up on this year's. Now, I am changing things, sort of. Just the format-ish of the Travel Tech audio series. I would create a new feed every year. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm not going to reveal it to you because I've revealed a lot to you this episode. So just know, if you have ever signed up for the Travel Tech Audio Summit, I'll be sending an email in the next couple of weeks to let you know what the changes are, because I think they're going to be super beneficial for you. Really, it's to make it more user-friendly for everybody. I'm also celebrating my birthday in May, and I have my birthday cruise, and I cannot wait. Yes, that's vacation time, but obviously if I'm going on a cruise, I've got to get the content. That's just who I am. So I'll probably not be answering any emails or messages and disconnecting myself from that, but I will still be working on the content. And then I'm also going to be working on getting and conducting the interviews for the summer selling series. I'm bringing that back this year. Already have like a lineup of people I'm interested in chatting with. I also may do the AI workshops. That's probably either going to be in May or in June. Again, haven't decided because I have a million ideas and I just need to know which ones are the ones that you want. And then June, really all that I've written down is to work on those relationships. And I have been thinking a lot about like running a Get It Done week where many of you have one or multiple of my marketing starter kits. And so I know because I'm negligent, I'm guilty of this as well, where we buy different courses to learn things and then we never open or use the course up. So this Get It Done week would be something where if you have purchased the course, you would be invited to get it done and be featured in a showcase because you have gotten the work done in whatever it is. I'm thinking probably the first one might be LinkedIn, but if again there's something else, let me know, because I have the LinkedIn starter kit, the Reel starter kit, the Google Business Profile starter kit, and then of course the Wave Season starter kit. So yeah, those are the big things ahead. I am super positive and pumped, especially now that I'm not going to be like traveling as much in Q2, that I can like knock things out. I am just feeling guns a-blazing, and I do say that as I do have a lot of energy right now, but yeah, I am just super excited about all of the possibilities. When I think about this also, I am very humble in being able to ask for help. So I have asked for a lot of help recently. And so that's where I want to like have you come in also. I mean, I've asked a lot of you guys today. I don't think I'm going to ask anything of you. If you're interested in like figuring out or knowing what I need some help with, just reach out to me, because there's some certain connections that I would like to make. But yeah, I think I've kind of overworked you this episode. So I will leave it at that and just give a very hearty super thank you for tuning in. Let me know what was your biggest aha or takeaway from this episode. Is there anything that kind of like clicked and you're like, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that, or yep, I felt the same way too? I would love to hear all of your thoughts. All right, you guys have a great week, great weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Bye. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.